There is a creature unlike any other beneath the murmuring waves, where light bends and darkness holds the unknowable. Time itself is defied by the grace with which the octopus, phantom of the deep, creator of illusion, and custodian of ancient secrets, moves. It moves through the ocean's passageways, unhindered by restrictions or bone, a traveler on the always changing tide of life. Its tale is delivered by the water's rhythm and the ink that swirls like dreams long since gone, rather than being inscribed in stone or carved on the ground. The story is older than recollection, older than the wind-whispering forests, and even older than the earliest creatures to crawl on land. It is evidence of change, the art of survival, and the genius that comes from intelligence, adaptation, and the constant reinventing of oneself, rather than from physical prowess. The octopus's predecessors wore armor, hard, spiraling shells that shielded them from the jaws of ancient predators, long before it rose to prominence as the sea's elusive trickster. Like the slow-moving snails and the still-drifting nautiluses, they belong to the vast and expansive phylum Mollusca. However, time is an unrelenting sculptor, and the creatures of the world altered along with it. Some mollusks lose their shells in order to survive in a world of constant chase, trading rigidity for mobility and safety for opportunity. A new lineage arose from this sacrifice, one that would eventually become skilled at evasion, cleverness, and being uncatchable. Thus, the class, Cephalopoda, was born, whose name, head-footed, hardly conveys the wonders it holds. This group gave rise to the order Octopoda, a lineage of soft-bodied visionaries who exchanged physical strength for something much more powerful, the capacity to feel, think, and disappear whenever one pleases. Living without armor is like living in a dangerous world, and vulnerability leads to need. After losing the hard defenses that their forebears had experienced, octopuses evolved into entirely new species. They may transform into the coral, the sand, or the shadow that never existed by shifting their skin, which is a live canvas, through an artist's color palette. Without being constrained by bone, their bodies could fit through openings no bigger than an eye and blend in with the world's secret corners. They turned into ghosts, illusionists, and escape artists. Their biggest trick, however, was not their disguise or their escape skills, but rather the mentality that enabled them to do so. Not for supremacy or conquest, but for survival in a cruel world, the octopus developed a brain that matched that of mammals, unlike any other invertebrate. Additionally, their brains spread into their arms, enabling each limb to move, explore, and even think on its own, unlike organisms with centralized intellect. They were able to solve puzzles that would leave other beings perplexed, move items with uncanny accuracy, and taste with their skin. They were comprehending the world, not just responding to it. Despite their genius, octopuses only have a short-lived beauty. The majority of species only live for a year or two, yet during that period, they are incredibly vibrant. After weaving her fragile life threads into a tapestry of eggs, a mother octopus will spend her last days protecting them, going without nourishment and becoming weaker as she looks after her unborn offspring. When they eventually hatch, she drifts away, her body given over to the sea, her duty fulfilled. Shortly after mating, the male also dies quietly, his existence a mere echoes in the vast ocean of time. Their forefathers have been swimming through the world's oceans for almost 2,300 million years. So even though they are ghosts of the present, their pedigree goes far back. They have endured great extinctions, outlived dinosaurs, and repeatedly witnessed the oceans changing their shape. Their presence serves as a silent protest against the loss of history and a reminder that intellect is not limited to either the soil or the animals who inhabit it. More than 300 species of octopus make their way across the depths of the wide blue. Some are giants of the abyss, with limbs longer than a man's height, such as the big Pacific octopus, Enteroctopus doflani. Some, like the poisonous blue-ringed octopus, Hapalochlina, have small, quivering bodies that contain the worst secret in the water. To evade detection, the master of deception, the mimic octopus, Thaumaoctopus mimicus, mimics the shapes of lionfish, sea snakes, and even jellyfish. Then there are the Dumbo octopuses, Grimpoteuthis, who live in the deep water. They float over the never-ending darkness of the ocean's abyss, their ears gently fluttering. However, the world above them is altering even as they drift invisible beneath the waves. The equilibrium that has supported the seas for millions of years is starting to falter as the currents change and the oceans get warmer. The fragile habitats they inhabit are under threat from pollution, acidification, and overfishing. Yet if history has taught us anything, it is that octopuses are adaptable. Maybe some distant ancestor of the octopus will continue to float across the sea long after we are gone, observing, waiting, and surviving just as it always has. As it has done innumerable times before, it might change once more, becoming something even more amazing and unusual as it adjusts to the environment it inherits. Because the octopus is more than just an aquatic animal. It is an ephemeral fantasy inscribed on the ebb and flow of time, a living poem, and a monument to the beauty of nature. It does not erect monuments or etch its history in stone, but its legacy lives on in the deep, murmured in the waves, and carried by the currents. It is the silent guardian of the depths, the mind in the dark, and the ghost in the sea. Even if it doesn't leave any imprint on the earth, it has left behind something much more significant, a lesson in intelligence, metamorphosis, and the art of being both everything and nothing. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more interesting videos.